Another amazing chapter from Oda. We witnessed Luffy talking to the Gorosei and Vegapunk's new invention, an advanced form of Kairoseki. Additionally, we saw Bonnie behaving strangely and S-Snake developing feelings for Luffy similar to Hancock's emotions. It appears that emotions might be transferred through the lineage factor during the cloning process. It would be intriguing if other Seraphims display similarly detailed emotions. The chapter reveals that the Straw Hats are planning to escape to Elbaf with the assistance of Vega Force. At the end of the chapter, Kizaru attacks Sentomaru after conversing with Saturn, who disregards people and friendships. Saturn's goal is to protect Vegapunk's records and the power plant, so the Buster Call should not be anticipated. This chapter introduces a lot of new information, but I won't delve into its details as I believe the theory I'm about to show you is more interesting and chapter 1090 plays a significant role in it. One Piece arcs in the post-time skip tend to mirror pre-time skip arcs in very deliberate ways. The most apparent example of this has always been Dressrosa and Alabasta, with Dressrosa essentially just being a what-if version of if Crocodile actually won. We had a Shichibukai hero who is actually the bad guy, a disgraced king, an organized crime group, unfortunate royal princess, illegal substance, rebel army, and brotherly union. With that concept in mind, we can determine with high certainty that Egghead Island is meant to mirror post-Enies Lobby and Sabaody Archipelago. Think back on how Kobe was first reintroduced into the story again after leaving Luffy and Zoro in Shell's Town. Kobe was reintroduced post-Enies Lobby after getting a glow-up training under Garp, and of course, whenever Kobe is involved, Helmeppo is never too far behind. This was not just some feel-good moment though. Kobe brought with him some very crucial information to the world building of One Piece, including officially introducing us to the concept of Dr. Vegapunk and his technology. Much like Kobe being the person to now introduce us to the Seraphim for the first time via his authority chip. The first time we ever meet Garp is in the post-Enies Lobby arc when he greets Luffy with the Fist of Love. Now we saw him fighting the Blackbeard pirates. Garp was also the first person to ever introduce us to the concept of what a Yonko is, as well as the three great powers and the worst criminal in the world, Monkey D. Dragon. In Egghead Island, we learned how the creation of the Revolutionary Army actually came about shortly after the O'Hara incident. Speaking of the O'Hara incident, obviously it was the catalyst of the entire Enies Lobby saga. We've gotten a new extreme version of that in this arc, with the island that does not actually exist, the Leloucha Kingdom. This will almost surely become for Sabo what O'Hara was for Dragon. This arc, we were informed by Vegapunk that Jaguar D. Saul didn't actually die on O'Hara. He survived that day, taking the secrets of the Void Century with him to safekeep on Elbaf. For one reason or another, Aokiji did not kill Saul that day and decided to let Robin live. And what were Aokiji's last words to Robin after Enies Lobby was finally over? O'Hara hasn't fallen yet. The work of Clover and the scholars is still out there waiting for somebody to guide it to the finish line. It's up to Robin to decide where she takes that message. We shouldn't fail to mention that Aokiji was also one of the members of the Blackbeard pirates who took Pudding from Whole Cake Island, a character with the potential to eventually read the poneglyphs. Why is Aokiji so invested in characters with ties to poneglyphs? Well, we'll find out someday. The Blackbeard pirates are obviously making big moves right now. They defeated Law, Garp, and now they will appear at Egghead. But we've been here before. Who warned us the last time Blackbeard was making a move? It was an incident that the Gorosei feared even happening. Shanks met up with Whitebeard in the post-Enies Lobby arc. We also just recently saw Shanks pull off a similar flex at the very end of Wano with his haki, just to draw more parallels to the section of the story we're at. Also, in both scenes, Shanks was talking about the new era. Blackbeard fought and defeated Law. Instead of being the hunted when Ace was looking for him, Blackbeard has become the hunter. I don't think I need to remind people how the first fight went for Blackbeard's opponent, and it just so happens that Blackbeard was on Winter Island with the same crew members that were with him when he fought Ace: Van Augur, Burgess, Docu, and Stronger. There are of course more prominent familiar faces you think of when you think of the Sabaody Archipelago: Kuma, Rayleigh, Shaki, Kizaru, Sentomaru, and the Pacifistas. The cover story during Sabaody Archipelago also happened to be the CP9 cover story where they went back to their hometown. We saw CP0 agents Kuma, Sentomaru, Pacifistas, and Kizaru. Will we see Rayleigh as well? It is less likely, but that would be amazing. Our first big introduction to slavery was in the Sabaody Archipelago at the auction house led by Saint Charlos and the family. And I think Kuma's backstory is proof that this is upcoming. Kuma was a slave as a child, seemingly on the Holy Land considering there aren't any bubbles on their heads, which just makes it worse that he was forced to be one once again for Roswald. I also think it's entirely possible that CP0 are actually the Gorosei's personal slaves, which is why we saw things like Guernica regretting that he had to stop Luffy versus Kaido, or CP0 questioning their orders heading into this arc to kill Vegapunk. Here's another thought: what if the creation of the clones like Stussy was actually an attempt by the Celestials to have their own legion of mindless CP0 soldiers who have no emotions? And that's why Judge's other children were made to have no emotions. It was all a Mads operation trying to create slaves for the Gorosei who would simply do their bidding without a hint of a soul. But Stussy was proof that even clones are people and they do have emotions. To tie it back to the underworld, this is also why Mother Carmel was working with Cypher Pole on Elbaf. It's all one big operation to create their own slaves and soldiers. Because unlike the other Celestials who just want butlers and horses, they want super soldiers to go out there and stomp the remnants of the ancient kingdom. Lucci is just the end result of what they wanted Big Mom to be, and in the recent chapter we saw Lucci leaking information to the Five Elders like he was programmed. There are other small parallels as well. For example, bounty hunters and marine hunters. Frankie introduced us to Treasure Tree Adam. Treasure Tree Adam is on Elbaf, and the Straw Hats are going to Elbaf. It was sad that Vegapunk's devices are 500 years in the future, but now Vegapunk revealed that it's actually from the past. Fishmen were liberated publicly 200 years ago. Also 200 years ago, the giant robot attacked the Holy Land. Now let's discuss the future of this arc. We witnessed Kizaru attacking Sentomaru, whose defense is said to be the toughest in the world. Of course, no one expects Sentomaru to stop Kizaru, so does it imply that Kizaru's attacks are unstoppable? Also, it would be strange if Kizaru were to defeat the Straw Hats and Luffy in Year 5 by himself. There will not be another time skip. This is the final saga. Even if the Straw Hats manage to defeat Kizaru, there are other Marines, Saturn, and CP0. This is what I believe will occur. There will be a brief clash between the monster trio and Kizaru. Lucci will help Kizaru as well. We may see Seraphims, and I believe that the Blackbeard Pirates will play a role as well. There are too many groups, so the best option for the Straw Hats is to escape to Elbaf. No one will allow the Straw Hats to do that, so they need someone to buy time. Vegapunk and Bonnie also want to escape. CP0 and the Seraphims won't assist the Straw Hats, so the savior of this arc will be Bartholomew Kuma. The last time we saw Kuma, he used his Devil Fruit power to propel himself off the Revolutionaries' island. He then attempted to climb the Red Line but was shot down by Marine squads and plummeted onto the Red Port. There he began defending himself against the Marine squads and once again ascended the Red Line after defeating the Marines. In Sabaody, he saved the Straw Hat crew and protected them. Here, he'll probably provide us with some touching backstory through Bonnie and then undertake some form of distraction on the Red Line to free them again. He might even find a way to control pacifistas or utilize his Devil Fruit powers to teleport to the Egghead. If S-Snake loves Luffy, perhaps Kuma's Seraphim has fatherly feelings for Bonnie as well. Kuma's connections include the Revolutionaries, Bonnie, and Vegapunk. Since he has already departed from the Revolutionary Army, going to the Egghead, seeing Bonnie and Vegapunk for the last time, and aiding them along with the Straw Hats in their escape would be an emotional and heroic death that he deserves. That's it for today. Write down in the comments what you think about this theory. I really hope you enjoyed the video, and don't forget to subscribe for more. Bye!